What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we are going to take a look at Star Wars Empire Strikes Back Bespin Luke DX25. This is the deluxe version, and if you are looking for this figure, it's already sold out, but I get most of my figures at bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. $4 shipping, pile of loot, and excellent customer service. So let's unbox this guy right here. I love DX figures. Whatever it is, if it's a DX, I will consider it. The only thing DX I would say that I never really did consider, I would say was the Darth Maul, because I already have one, the DX16, and I, I'm just like, why? Why is this a DX figure? However, every DX packaging, accessories, rolling eyeball system, I'm a sucker for that. But now it feels like everyone has one, like a rolling eyeball system. I mean, Ant-Man has one. So it kind of took away the little bit of mystique for that. But now it's all about artisan. So are we going to see an artisan Luke Skywalker in the near future? I wouldn't doubt it. If anything, he is one of the perfect candidates to have that. But his hair is a bit tricky. That's the only thing. I mean, this Luke Skywalker right here has interchangeable hair, so that just tells you it's, I don't know if that people are gonna go on with that, with an artisan Luke because of that. Now, an updated head sculpt would be a welcome addition, even though this is pretty strong, so we'll take a look at that too. So now let's unbox this guy. Anything that you would see from a DX figure, obviously is in here. Foam packaging. It doesn't have those magnets on the side anymore. They kind of went away with that. And honestly, some of the DX lately, you wonder, how are these guys DX? Because it didn't feel like they warranted or they did enough to be a DX figure. But that started with again, Darth Maul's solo Darth Maul, So then it trickled down. We got DX19, which basically DX12 with some improvements, and then Ahsoka didn't need to be a DX. This guy right here, you do have the helmet from back in the day, exclusive edition from DX07, and now you got two bases for the deluxe version. If you only had one, I'm pretty sure it's clamshell is going to be different, but even a lot less if you didn't get the deluxe version. But you have an option here, so it's underneath the clamshell. So let's take a look at the deluxe accessories first. So let's tackle that. When in here, you would get the Dagobah base, topper, and then you would get a separate base at the bottom. So you don't need to use this, but it doesn't also have those plaque or printouts, I guess, so you could use it for Yoda if needed be. And the surface is nicely done. It feels like one of those notebooks when I was younger, where there is like a 3D / hologram on my notebook. I don't even know what you call that. And then there's a lot of details in this topper as well. You could use it for anyone basically who has this kind of base, so it doesn't just exclusively for that. Speaking of exclusive, this used to be an exclusive for DX07. Now you can pretty much buy this too for $60. I mean, the paint application is nice. At the bottom, you can see it's kind of burnt out. I mean, he got cut by a lightsaber. Very scene specific, which Vader's face is basically Luke. It's nice. You can't use it though. If you're planning to kind of recreate like those Obi-Wan Vader half mask, half exposed, no, that's not gonna work. But it's nice. Is it worth $60 or whatever it is, that extra? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Now we get to the regular one, even if you do get the non-deluxe, so you get some trigger finger hand. So I would say this is a force hand, some one-fisted hand, and another force hand right there, and I don't know, some spell binding hands. You get this again light up lightsaber, which I thought we're gonna have USB at this point. Probably not. Still with a good old battery, and then two lightsaber blades. So this is the it's double jointed. I didn't even try it. I'm done. Double bladed here, so you got this swoosh action, kind of like the I don't know what you call that, with this lightsaber effect. And now you get his blaster, which is nicely done as well. It nicely painted. It has some weathering on it, some dry brushing here. So silver bits on the side to looks like a Luger. Recreate the metallic effect of it. You see the grip also has some texture. It's right there, nicely done. Overall, pretty good looking blaster. Not that I haven't seen this before. I have another Luke, and his hilt, which I kind of like. I like this hilt. I'm trying to get into lightsabers lately. I'm gonna have Anakin come up here soon, but this is cool. You see this? See how there's a lot of details on here as well. I don't know if this is the same one as I have on the Deluxe Luke version. Probably not, because that's a different movie. And then you got this separate hairpiece. This is the more, I would say, fixed hair look, because the one that's included in the figure itself right off the bat is kind of like the messy hair. And here you got this beautiful stand, Star Wars. You got the Luke Skywalker there, which is USB powered, which is nice. And it doesn't have the crotch grabber, which is, I call it the waist grabber / leg grabber, right here on the side. And it does light up, but you need obviously a USB cable. I should have tested it with a power bank, but you can see there's on and off here, and on the side there is a connector, which if you choose to do so, you could connect the other piece. I mean, it's totally up to you, which also lights up. So you could connect this, I don't know what these are, canisters or whatever the case is, and then that USB port or dongle right there, you can retract it if you don't want to use it as such. And now this is where you're gonna plug in the USB, which would go into the power outlet, or like a power bank, and then you can turn it on and off as well. And that one you can retract if you're not using it, right there at the bottom. And it does have those rubber feet, so it doesn't slide if you're in it's like a slippery surface. But nicely painted, and nice details in there as well. So let's take a look at the tailoring for this guy. There's a lot of back and forth whether he should be weathered, and I see some people sending this to an artist to have him customized, and I don't even blame them. He's too clean. Even the new tailoring here, as you can see, the belt is separate, so you got to insert that. It's nice and proper. It is well fitted. I can't complain. The stitching just looks 2023, right? It looks 2023 version compared to the DX07. But if you rewatch the movie, which I have lately, DX07 feels more like screen accurate, not only because of the weathering, but back then, in what is this, the 70s, this is how they look. I mean, it's not form-fitting. His clothing was a little loose. It's dirty, and it's just not. This one looks like he's the general. That is all prim and proper, and then it's pressed and all that stuff, and he's wearing Uggs. But nonetheless, aesthetic-wise, it looks great. I like it. I love it. I love the look, honestly. I'd rather prefer this than the screen accurate DX07. It just looks nicer on the eyes, I would say, even though it's not, if we're talking about accuracy here, probably not in that category, but I'll take it. Now his Uggs are kind of like pleather-ish material. The stitching is phenomenal in this guy. That gives you concern if you are in the human area, because you already have to deal with the belt. Now you have to deal with his boots as well. But only time will tell. So there's also a disadvantage to this type of tailoring, and I'll show you later on the post session that we have. And now we'll jump into the head sculpt. I would say this is the best Luke Skywalker head sculpt to date. As you can see from there, The first few ones, especially back in the Farm Boy look, not so much. But now they made the eyes a little rounder, a little bigger. The hairpiece, just, you can interchange it as well. The shape of the face, I would say it's still not 100%, but we're headed in the right direction. After the 9th Luke Skywalker, I think they'll get it. We're what, like just 7th right now, so 2 more, but we're getting there. I would say this is the best one today. They said I don't have the figure, but they did say that this is similar to the Mandalorian version. I can't confirm that, but a lot of people have. I guess the difference is just the hairpiece. So if you have that, so you pretty much have the same sculpt but different hairpiece, so you can interchange them. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I do have the best of both worlds because I don't have the Mando Luke. I do have the Deluxe Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. And that feels like because it does have 2 head sculpts with different expressions. And he has one thing that other Lukes don't have, which is the windswipe hair. Since I do have that, I can try it out here. I'm going to do it in a separate video because this is already too long. Remove the hairpiece here. He got a haircut. And I prefer this look more, where his hair is a bit messy and all that stuff. Kind of just reminds you of that scene with him and Vader. That's, obviously what I'm going for. But I would say that the inclusion of the rolling eyeball system does help out. Especially in different scenes, and this is how it looks like from the inside, and then you get a stick that you would kind of like insert there and move the eyeballs around in any preference way that you might want, and it could change the tone, especially if you're into macro photography. Articulation, let's remove the hairpiece, and again, if you don't, it wasn't focusing earlier, that's how it is. You move the eyeballs there, and now he can look up, but it's the neck and head is in one piece right here, so you can put some limitations there. And speaking of limitations, he does have a lot of padding, so moving the arms forward is being hindered by the padding on top of the shoulders. So if you're going for an overhead stab with a lightsaber, that's not gonna happen. And obviously it's padding on the chest and stomach area as well, and this is to fill out the suit, so there's a give and take here. You can't raise the feet so high. The knee has a good bend here. You don't want to mess with the ankles too much, because if you bend it a certain way, you're going to create some creases there that might accelerate the flaking. No threads on his shoes. This guy's gonna slip. Workman's compensation. Not a whole lot of waist movement as well. He can look, kind of bend down. He's like an old guy who can't bend fully. Also, bending backwards is an issue. But yeah, there's limitations for sure. But you can still pose the guy. You could. It is possible. It's just not, certain poses you just can't pull off. And now let's put some poses here. So this is the drawback when you have a tailoring on an outfit that is form-fitting. The moment you raise the hands up, it's like wearing real clothes. If it's just perfect fit on you, any sudden movement, it'll pull up. And on a normal person, that's nothing. That's fine. But on a Hot Toys figure, that means his wrist pegs are going to show. So that is one disadvantage of having that. Like as you see here, I can't pull it out even if I did, because it is so form-fitting when he's standing. So the ball joints are just going to show. And to some people, that is an eyesore. For me, for photography wise, I can edit that. That's a simple heel. But for display wise, you can't edit somebody's eyes. They would see that, but they know it's a doll. They know it's like an action figure. So there might be a little forgiving on that, but it just to let you know that's there. And here in this pose as well, He is holding the lightsaber, I guess, as high. Well, this is not as high as I could, but again, moving it overhead would be difficult. And as you can see, it's not even that high yet. Yet a good portion of his forearm is already showing. And obviously the paint difference between the hands and the forearm, that's plastic. They didn't even paint it. If that bothers you, I would stay away from poses where his hands is up. So, just to avoid any, I would say any aggravation on your end if you get pissed off by things like this. But there you go. Final thoughts on this guy. I think it's a pretty solid release by Hot Toys. For any Luke Skywalker fans out there, if you miss out on DX07, well, this is your chance for a quote-unquote upgraded figure. You're not going to get as much as DX07. DX07 has two bodies, the arm, the cut-off hand, the weather vane, the battle damage look. In a sense, I'm kind of glad they didn't completely copy DX07, so it would preserve its value. On the other hand, there's a lot of improvements here that if you own DX07, I think there's a pretty, compelling argument that this is still a worthy pickup. Base, the overall tailoring, the look, the updated head sculpt, I think those are all good points that you could add. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you can't have too many Luke Skywalkers, although there is a lot of Luke Skywalkers out there. But yes, every look that he does have is iconic. It all depends, if you are not as big of a Star Wars fan, is this the definitive Luke Skywalker? For me, who is not a hardcore Star Wars fan, I would go towards the Mandalorian because that scene was just pure badass. But this is more iconic if we're talking about, history and all that stuff. This is sold out though. So the Mandalorian is still out there, available. It might even go on sale this upcoming holiday season. I think it'll stay there for a little bit. So if you missed out on this and you're just looking for a Luke Skywalker to have on your shelf, that is not a bad option. But nonetheless, I'm pretty happy that I have DX25 in my collection. Let me know in the comments if you have one. How do you feel about it? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.